This is Coffee with God, and let us begin this day with the Word of God.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 14, verses 22 to 36. The passage is taken from the Message version of the Bible. As soon as the meal was finished, he insisted that the disciples get in the boat and go on ahead to the other side while he dismissed the people. With the crowd dispersed, he climbed the mountain so that he could be by himself and pray. He stayed there alone, late into the night. Meanwhile, the boat was far out to sea when the wind came up against them, and they were battered by the waves. At about 4 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came toward them, walking on the water. They were scared to death. "A ghost," they said, crying out in terror. But Jesus was quick to comfort them. "Courage, it's me. Don't be afraid." Peter, suddenly bold, said, "Master, if it's really you, call me to come to you on the water." He said, "Come ahead." Jumping out of the boat, Peter walked on the water to Jesus. But when he looked down at the waves churning beneath his feet, he lost his nerve and started to sink. He cried, "Master, save me." Jesus didn't hesitate. He reached down and grabbed his hand. Then he said, "Faint-hearted, what got into you?" The two of them climbed into the boat, and the wind died down. The disciples in the boat, having watched the whole thing, worshipped Jesus, saying, "This is it. You are God's Son for sure." On return, they beached the boat at Gennesaret. When the people got wind that he was back, they sent out word through the neighborhood and rounded up all the sick who asked for permission to touch the edge of his coat. And whoever touched him was healed. The Gospel of the Lord.
Father Alberto Rosa, a Claretian missionary, shares with us his reflections on the Gospel today. Father Rosa is the founding director of Pastoral Bible Foundation and Claretian Publications, Hong Kong.
August 8. In the cover of the darkness of the night, in the disturbance of a whirling sea, Jesus appears to his disciples. We can relate this episode with the accounts of the Transfiguration and Easter. They are manifestations of the profound identity of Jesus as Lord. He lords over the elements. He brings down calm and confidence with his presence, with his word, and with the touch of his hand. Peter does not fear because he's sinking, but sinks because he fears. The behavior of Peter is familiar to Matthew, who wants to show the spiritual journey of the first apostle. When Jesus identifies himself, he recognizes him, asks for his calling, and follows him with confident boldness. Then he doubts, he falters in danger, and is saved by Jesus. He is a typical figure of the church. In the middle of the storm, the community forgets about the Jesus of solidarity, and they see only a ghost that hovers in the dark. They want to go toward him, but they let themselves be frightened by adverse forces. The gospel wants us to have a total experience of Jesus by breaking all biases and securities. We must let him talk to us through the Bible and the book of life. This is one of the gospel episodes that best illustrates, on the one hand, the situation of the Christian community, that of Matthew and that of all times, and in its historic journey amid difficulty and tribulation, and on the other, the lasting presence of the risen Lord in the boat of Peter. Matthew ends his gospel with the promise of his presence. "I am with you always, to the end of the age."